In the heart of the golden savanna, where the red earth meets the endless blue sky, lived an old master potter named Mzee. His hands were like the roots of an ancient baobab, gnarled, strong, and wise. Mzee did not simply make jars. He shaped vessels that seemed to hold the very spirit of the village. Beside him worked a young apprentice named Kobi. Kobi was talented, very talented, but he was obsessed with perfection. He spent hours smoothing every line and every edge, terrified of the smallest bump or the tiniest crooked curve. To Kobi, a jar was only valuable if it was flawless. He believed the world only had room for the beautiful and the strong. One afternoon, a great storm rolled over the hills. The wind howled through the workshop, the roof rattled, dust and rain rushed through the open walls. And in the chaos, a heavy wooden beam shifted. It struck a large unbaked jar, the one Kobi had spent 3 long days crafting. When the sun rose the next morning, Kobi walked slowly into the workshop. He looked at his work and his heart sank. A jagged crack ran from the rim all the way down to the base. "It is ruined," Kobi whispered. His voice carried the heavy weight of what he believed was failure. He reached for a hammer, ready to smash the jar into dust, to erase the evidence of his mistake. But suddenly, Mzee's hand stopped him. Firm, warm, steady. "Wait, my son," the old man said softly. "The clay has spoken. It has a different destiny now." Days passed, then weeks. Mzee refused to throw the jar away. He placed it quietly on the windowsill. Kobi did not understand. He tried to repair the crack with fresh clay, but it would not stick. He tried to paint over it, but the jagged lines still showed. Kobi grew frustrated. Why would the master keep something so obviously broken in a workshop filled with masterpieces? Slowly, Kobi began to see himself in that jar. He thought about his own mistakes, the times he had failed, and the cracks in his own life. And deep inside, he began to wonder if the jar was useless. Perhaps he was too. Many nights he sat quietly in the dim workshop, staring at the cracked jar on the shelf. And every time Mzee looked at it, the old master smiled. One morning, Mzee called Kobi to the windowsill. The old master had filled the cracked jar with rich, dark soil. "Watch," Mzee said gently. Days turned into weeks. Rain fell softly from the sky. And because of the cracks, the extra water drained perfectly. The roots inside the soil did not rot. The jagged lines allowed sunlight to warm the earth deep within. Then one morning, something miraculous happened. A tiny green sprout appeared, then a small bud, and finally, a beautiful lily of the valley burst into bloom. Its golden petals glowed in the sunlight, and its fragrance filled the entire workshop. It was the most beautiful thing in the room. The perfect jars on the shelves stood tall and flawless, but they were empty, cold, silent. Only the cracked jar held life. Mzee placed a gentle hand on Kobi's shoulder. "You see, Kobi," he said, "the perfect jars are admired, but the cracked jar is the only one that could grow the garden. Do not curse your cracks, my son, for they are the very places where the seeds of heaven find room to breathe. Kobe looked down at his hands. For the first time, he was no longer afraid of mistakes. He finally understood. His scars were not signs of weakness. They were the paths through which his light would one day shine.